diet. Today we make chicken thighs with bone and skin. You want to have a thermometer that you want to put in your oven. Don't trust the thermometer on the oven. I have a thermidor here. I have to put it on 375 so it hits 350. So when I do that, I come over here, I put it on 375. I use convection bake because it gets the air all around it. Much better than just regular baking. And then make sure your thermometer is in there and that it gets to 350. Every oven is different. You may have to go to 400 to get to 350. Sometimes 325 goes to 350. That's why you put that thermometer in there. So what I do is I buy a bunch of these, buy 12 at a time. I'll cook 6, then I'll freeze 6, and a couple days later I'll defrost them in just water. It takes about 45 minutes. And as soon as I'm done with that, don't wash chicken. If you get good organic chicken, don't wash it because you're gonna get bacteria all over your sink, all over your hands, all over the faucet. And the whole point of cooking is to get rid of bacteria. So we're cooking them. So there won't be any bacteria. So you don't need to wash them. What I do is I put down a couple of paper towels just to get some of the juice off of it. And then I will go ahead and do that just so we don't have any, just pat them dry. And then what I do is I do them skin down first because we're going to salt and pepper these. So we just do that, turn those up. Don't put any oil on these. You've got skin on them. The skin creates the natural oil. Don't waste any oil. And then they taste oily. And just some of the natural taste of the chicken. So we're gonna do that. And as soon as I'm done with this, that looks good. I'm gonna wash my hands and then we're gonna go to the salt and peppering. So after defrost them, you wanna make sure that you get your chicken to room temperature, which 15-20 minutes while the oven is heating up. These will sit here and they'll get to room temperature by the time the oven's ready. So what we want to do is we want to grab our, my favorite. I buy 5-pound bags of this stuff off of Amazon. And I use a 1/4 teaspoon here. Just because if I make a mistake, I don't want to dump, 2 tablespoons of salt on it. Or I can use a salt shaker, but I kind of like doing this because I can get little areas. And just give, 1/8 of a teaspoon on each one, just a light dusting. Sometimes I'll just use a half a 1/4 teaspoon, which is 1/8, just so I don't put too much on there. Because sometimes, you spill too much salt on there. It's not fun. Too much salt. And then I use a copper mill. I love this thing. Buy a copper mill. And then you're going to get Malabar black pepper, premium large peppercorns. And I buy everything. I buy this stuff in bulk. I fill this up. I fill up maybe once every month or two. And then we're just going to go ahead and grind. And just put a light dusting. Just a light dusting. Don't need to do much. Just there you go. You can. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I mean, we're not drowning it in pepper or salt. There's no reason to. Then I just take a small fork and just flip them over. Now my oven's heating up here. I can feel like maybe this one's still a little bit frozen there, so I might just let this sit out here for another 15-20 minutes while the oven heats up. And it does take 15-20 minutes. And the reason why I cook so many at a time is, for one, you're using all this energy. I don't want to cook it for just one meal. I'm going to cook it for 1, 2, 3, and sometimes 4 meals. And I also do like to feed my dog some chicken along with his dog food. So he'll get some also. So that's 3 to 4 meals for me and a meal for him. And sometimes 2 meals. I don't give him a lot of chicken, just, like a 1/4 cup with his dry dog food. So when we do that, anytime I touch anything with chicken, I always be a little bit careful and, Don't want it touching the countertop. Me throwing bacteria everywhere. Although I do keep my kitchen very clean. So we do the same thing on the other side. And I do the skins just because it's where the oil from the skin is going to, the fat, I'm sorry, not the oil, but the fat, okay, almost the same thing, but the fat is going to take that. And then sometimes if they get nice and crispy, the skins taste pretty good too. I use the Mary's chicken, so it's really good chicken. If you're using Zaki Farms, you shouldn't be cooking. Sorry, it's disgusting. And I didn't have to prepare these at all. These are already cut straight from Whole Foods and straight into here. No washing or anything, just pat them dry. And then I give a little bit more pepper on the top of these because the flavor goes through the skin and gets caught up with the fat, and it goes down. And you'll notice when you're cooking and you don't want to keep opening the oven, once you get these in the oven, you'll start seeing all the fat underneath and cooking through it. So if you were pouring a bunch of oil on this, the oil would just take over the taste of the chicken. There you go. I like the natural taste of the chicken. So what we're gonna do is that we're just going to let this set for another 15-20 minutes. Keep that over there. And so 15-20 minutes, wait till that heats up, and it's gonna go in for 30 minutes. I don't open it up, minimum 30 minutes for the chicken thighs. Dark meat takes, obviously, well maybe not obviously, but dark meat takes longer to cook, and you can cook it longer because it's got a little more fat in it, so it won't dry out like chicken breast will. But we will do a trussed chicken one day, and I will show you an amazing trussed full chicken that will be mind-blowing. I could put time on this, but I find that time is better when you do a full chicken, full bird, or you do just the chicken breasts. The time adds a lot of flavor to it, but this, salt and pepper, that's all you need. All right, so next time we come back, I'm gonna throw this in. All right, so we sufficiently warmed up. We're exactly at 350. I take these, been about 20-25 minutes, room temperature. Just take these, put them in the middle, close it up. I go to Google Timer, or you can use your phone, but I'm taping with my phone right now. And 30 minutes, and then we'll check it at 30 minutes, and if I want a little bit more golden brown crust, I can add another 3 to 5 minutes to it. Okay, so we're now at 30 minutes. Let's take a look at it. You can see all the fat juices that are in there. And you know what? I kind of take a look at it and it's still a little pale. So I'm gonna put it in for another 5 minutes. All right, so I cooked it for an extra 5 minutes. You can do that with chicken thighs. Just don't go over 40 minutes. So here we are. Always use a dry towel to pull anything out. If it's got any water in it whatsoever, the heat will travel through the water and burn your hand. Just a tip. So I'm just gonna let those sit there for like 5 to 10 minutes. Let them hang out, and then we'll cut into them and we'll take a look. Okay, so I waited 3 to 5 minutes. I'm getting kind of hungry. They'll keep cooking for a little bit. So to test it, I'll just go ahead and peel off the skins. And I'll just do that. Just pull the skins off. If you want to get the skins really crispy, you have to cook at 400, and I don't like to cook over 400. It'll really dry out the meat, but I don't need to eat the skins. So I just cut into it, take a look at it. 35 minutes, it's done. And taste it. Absolutely perfect. Not dry or anything. And I like chicken thighs because they stay juicy. I can bring them to work and put them in the microwave for 45, 50 seconds, warm them up, throw some salsa on them. And super tasty. Yeah, that works. Now at this point you can throw salsa on them. Serve it with your vegetables. I love baked potatoes. We'll do a baked potato version also. But yeah, that's ready to go. So there you go. Obviously takes a little bit longer to cook chicken. So you do have to give yourself some time and work that out. There you go. And like perfect chicken thighs. Not over salted. Barely a hint of pepper. And you're ready to go. All right. So one last thing. The reason why I cook a lot is because I'm going to have it for lunch tomorrow. So what I'll do is I'll take a couple of these, throw them in a glass. Well, I guess it is Tupperware, but it's not plastic. It's glass. I like to use the glass. You don't need to put it in juices or anything like that. It doesn't matter. You don't need to like fill it with juices of all the fat. It's not gonna like soak it up and make it better. And then I'll just let that cool down a little bit. You can see how it starts to, obviously a lot of heat coming off that. So I'll just put that off to the side, let that cool down for 15-20 minutes, close everything up, and then I've got food for tomorrow. And I've got 3 other ones over here. And I'll put that in another bin also, another glass bin. And I'll use that for a meal for tomorrow and for my dog. So there you go. Perfect chicken thighs. You can also cook these on the grill. And I use indirect, so if you want to cook them on the barbecue, we'll do that sometime. You want to use indirect cooking, and you want it to be 400 degrees. Indirect cooking means that there's no flame on it. You close the lid and just let it sit for 30 to 35 minutes. But you do want to check on them because you don't want to flare up or anything. But since it'll be cooking on an indirect flame, anytime you cook on a direct flame on a barbecue, you always want to keep the barbecue open because if you get a flare up, you can't see it and you'll end up burning all your food. So we'll do that with burgers and everything too, and we'll show that one. But for now, we're doing oven cooked, and that's the end of that. There you go. Good protein, easy, healthy, except for you vegetarians. But for us who need protein, chicken thighs, really good. Gives you nice and a lot of fat content too, which I really like since we work out so much and play volleyball and need to have a lot of fat, not just protein. There you go.